Good evening, Namaskar and welcome to Express News with me Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you quick and crisp 100 news and updates in just 30 minutes. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated to the nation and laid the foundation stone of projects worth over 8,000 crore rupees in Amol, Bharuch. Prime Minister dedicated several projects which will give a boost to the chemical sector. Prime Minister dedicated 800 TPD caustic soda plant integrated with 130 megawatt co-generation power plant at Dahej. Along with this, he also dedicated expansion of existing caustic soda plant at Dahej, whose capacity has been increased from 785 metric tons per day to 1,310 metric tons per day. Prime Minister also dedicated a project for manufacturing over 1 lakh metric tons per annum of chloromethanes at Dahej. Other projects which were dedicated by the Prime Minister include hydroxine hydrate plant at Dahej, which will help in import substitution of the product, IOCL Dahej Koyali pipeline project in Bharuch, underground drainage and STP work and widening and strengthening of Umla Asa Panetha road. Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of bulk truck park at Jambusar. In 2021-22, bulk trucks accounted for over 60% of total pharmaceutical imports. The project will play a key role in ensuring import substitution and also helping to make India self-reliant for bulk trucks. Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of the deep sea pipeline project at Dahej Phase 1 of Ankleshwar Airport and development of multi-level industrial sheds at Ankleshwar and Panoli, which will give a boost to the MSME sector. Prime Minister performed the groundbreaking ceremony for the development of multiple industrial parks. These include 4 tribal industrial parks which will come up in Walia, Amiragar, Chakalia and Badar, Agro Food Park at Mudetha, Seafood Park at Kakwadi Danti and MSME Park at Khandibaf. Prime Minister Modi said that Bharuch has immensely contributed to the development of country and also to the development of Gujarat. Samajwadi Party founder, former Defence Minister and former CM of UP, Mulayam Singh Yadav passed away due to prolonged illness this morning. He breathed his last at Medanta Hospital in Gurugram. His demise has triggered wave of mourning among the workers of Samajwadi Party and also leaders cutting across party lines. President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh expressed grief over the demise of the leader. Prime Minister paid homage to former UP Chief Minister and founder of the Samajwadi Party, Mulayam Singh Yadav. Prime Minister said that he was an asset to the nation. Prime Minister also recalled interactions with Mulayam Singh Yadav when they served as Chief Ministers. The Prime Minister remarked that Mulayam Singh Yadav served the people diligently and devoted his life towards popularizing the ideals of Lokanayak JP and Dr. Lohia. Home Minister Amit Shah visited Medanta Hospital and paid tribute to Mulayam Singh Yadav. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath expressed grief over the demise of veteran politician Mulayam Singh Yadav. Yogi Adityanath also announced a 3-day state mourning and said the veteran leader's last rites would be conducted with full state honours. BJP National President JP Natta also expressed his deepest condolences to Mulayam Singh Yadav's family and supporters. Now let's move on to business. Japan throws open its door to visitors this week after more than 2 years of pandemic isolation. Hopes for a tourism boom face tough headwinds amid shuttered shops and a shortage of hospitality workers. The strikes that have hit French oil refineries and storage sites will continue on Monday. The strikes have added to pressure on President Emmanuel Macron's government, which is already facing discontent among the public over inflation. The Bank of England said that it would launch a temporary expanded collateral repo facility. It will also help banks to ease liquidity pressures facing their client funds caught up in the recent market turmoil, which threatened pension funds. Saudi Aramco has told at least 7 customers in Asia will receive full contract volumes of crude oil in November. The full supply allocation comes despite a decision by OPEC Plus, including Russia, to lower their output target by 2 million barrels per day. The dollar edged higher on Monday as investors sent their sight on inflation data later in the week that is expected to show that price pressures remain strong. Sterling slid versus the dollar today after Friday's strong US labor market data supported bets the Federal Reserve will keep raising rates aggressively. The pound dropped to a 10-day low of $1.1027 in early London trade. Crude oil prices fell today, ending 5 straight days of gains. Brent crude futures of December settlement fell by 1.1% and was last down 86 cents at $97.06 a barrel, whereas West Texas Intermediate crude for November delivery declined by 1.1% and was last at $91.94 a barrel. The Reserve Bank of India likely sold dollars via state-run banks on Monday after the rupee plumped a fresh record low following a US jobs reports that firmed bets of more aggressive rate hikes. Indian benchmark indices ended red in the highly volatile session. At close, the Sensex was down 200 points at 57,991 and the Nifty was down 73 points at 17,241. The Indian rupee pared most of its initial losses and settled 4 paise lower at a fresh lifetime low of 82.34 against the US dollar, weighed down by as risk-averse sentiment among investors. The Royal Swedish Academy of Science has awarded the 2022 Nobel in Economics to Ben S., Douglas W. and Philippe H. for research on banks and financial crisis, according to the official release issued today. And on to Russia-Ukraine crisis updates now. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Sunday accused Ukraine for explosion on a key bridge linking Crimea and the Russian mainland. The Russian president called the sabotage an act of terrorism planned by the Ukrainian special services. Multiple explosions rocked the center of Kiev this morning. Clouds of black smoke were seen engulfing the Ukrainian capital. Kiev's mayor Vitaly Klitschko confirmed that there had been multiple explosions in the region. He also informed that emergency services were on the site. Russian missiles hit Ukraine's southern city of Zaporozhye in the early morning hours today, killing at least one person. An apartment building and a government office in the center of the city were damaged in the attack. Regional official Alexander Starek said that more victims may be under the rubble as a search and rescue operation were underway. EU Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen said today that the soaring cost of energy is the price Putin wants Europeans to pay for opposing Russia's war in Ukraine. Von der Leyen said the 8th package of sanctions against Russia is affecting Moscow. The Crimean Bridge has resumed normal transportation while the road route reopened only to light vehicles after an explosion rocked the viaduct on Saturday. All buses, trucks and small vehicles with a capacity of more than 3.5 tons are still required to cross the Kerch Strait by ferry. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Russia timed its strike on Ukraine today to inflict the greatest possible losses among people and had also targeted the country's energy infrastructure. G7 leaders and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will hold emergency talks on Tuesday to discuss the latest Russian attacks on Ukraine. High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy Josep Borrell has tweeted on the recent attacks in Kiev and said that he is deeply shocked by Russia's attacks on civilians and that the EU stands with Ukraine. Additional military support from the EU is on its way. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Ukraine had carried out terrorist attacks against Russia and pledged a harsh response from Moscow in response. The Kremlin has said Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet the head of the United Nations nuclear watchdog Rafael Grossi on Tuesday in Russia. War between Taiwan and China is absolutely not an option, Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen said on Monday as she reiterated her willingness to talk to Beijing and also pledged to boost the island's defenses, including with precision missiles. North Korea State News Agency (KCNA) said on Monday that North Korea's recent flurry of missile tests were designed to simulate showering the South with tactical nuclear weapons as a warning after large-scale Navy drills by South Korean and US forces. Leader Kim Jong-un guided exercises by nuclear tactical operation units over the past 2 weeks involving ballistic missiles with mock nuclear warheads, KCNA reported, saying it was to deliver a strong message of war deterrence. China's foreign ministry said on Sunday that the United States should create conditions to resume dialogue with North Korea after Pyongyang fired 2 ballistic missiles earlier in the day. Japan's defense ministry officials strongly condemned North Korea's firing of 2 ballistic missiles on Sunday, saying Tokyo would not tolerate the repeated actions by North Korea. A Spanish Coast Guard vessel transported 23 migrants found in the Atlantic Ocean to the port of Arquinian in the island of Gran Canaria today as per the Red Cross. The migrants, all African men, were rescued as they travelled in a 40 miles south of the island. Every year, thousands of people have left North America to make their perilous journey to Europe. Australian President on Sunday secured a second 6-year term in office by winning a clean majority of votes and avoiding a runoff, according to projections based on almost all votes cast except postal ballots. In the US, 2 people were shot outside the home of New York Congressman and Republican New York gubernatorial candidate Lee Seltin, who has made addressing crime and violence a key point of his campaign. Violent protests triggered by the death of Mahsa Amini continue to rock Iran. In a latest development, a video showed multiple fires on road in the city. Dark black smoke could be seen rising from the fires at a traffic intersection in the city. At least 76 people were killed in a boat accident in Nigeria's Anambra state on Sunday after a boat carrying 85 persons capsized following rising floods. An estimated 85 people were taking the overloaded boat when flooding of the Niger River caused it to tip over. In Bangladesh, at least 6 people were killed and 6 injured in a tragic road accident at Kanchpur Bridge. The injured were immediately rushed to hospital. The accident occurred as a Dhaka-bound microbus hit an auto rickshaw carrying 8 passengers bound to opposite direction. Police seized the microbus, but its driver managed to flee. And taking a look at weather conditions across the world now, rains have eased in Australia's New South Wales. However, authorities continue to warn people to be aware of rising flood waters as days of rains in much of the most populous state has swollen rivers and caused flooding. Emergency services responded overnight to 343 requests for assistance and performed 21 flood-related rescues. People primarily northwest of Sydney have been asked to evacuate because of flooding, and the State Emergency Service has issued 94 flood warnings. Australia's east is in the grip of a rare third straight year of the La Nina weather event associated with increased rainfall. Dams and rivers are almost full. Another storm is expected to hit the state from Wednesday, bringing with it more rain. Venezuelan Vice President in a television address on Sunday said that at least 22 people died and 52 were missing after 5 small rivers in central Venezuela flooded due to heavy rains. The downpour on Saturday night swept large tree trunks and debris from surrounding mountains into the community 40 miles southwest of Caracas, damaging businesses and farmland. The downpour also caused landslides in 3 other central states on Sunday. The death bring the total killed in recent weeks to at least 40 due to heavy rains caused by the La Nina weather pattern. Hurricane Julia weakened into a tropical storm as it made landfall in Nicaragua's Laguna de Perla. The storm crossed the Central American country after hitting into its Caribbean coast. Julia lashed Nicaragua with heavy rainfall and strong winds of up to 85 miles per hour. Hurricane Julia is expected to emerge over the Pacific coast before moving north along the coasts of Honduras, El Salvador and Guatemala on Sunday and Monday. In Honduras, the authorities brace up for the tropical storms as rains pummeled the country. Honduran authorities have issued red alerts calling on residents to move to safer places. In Central American country of El Salvador, President declared Sunday as the National Day of Prayer, calling on citizens to come together to pray. The country has deployed troops, machinery and resources to safeguard lives of Salvadorans. In South America's Colombia, police helped residents of San Andres fix their roofs and clean debris off the roads as tropical storm hit the country before turning into a hurricane. Colombia's National Unit for Disaster Risk Management reported that 2 people were injured, 2 houses destroyed and 101 more damaged. In Guatemala, heavy rains and overflowing rivers caused floods as tropical storm Julia is expected to lash the country today. In the country, Santo Tomas de Castilla, located in the northeastern state of Isabel, Red Cross helped evacuate families from flooded neighborhood into safer areas. The NHC maintained its warning of the risk of life-threatening flash floods and mudslides across Central America and southern Mexico through Tuesday. The country has activated 1,855 shelters across the country since Saturday. Climate activists blocked the mall near Buckingham Palace in London today, causing delays and disruption for the 10th day running. The demonstrators were from Just Stop Oil, which describes itself as a coalition of groups working together to bring an end to the exploration, development and production of fossil fuels. 2 Extinction Rebellion activists glued their hands to Pablo Picasso painting in Melbourne, Australia on Sunday, to convey the connection between the consequences of climate change and human suffering. They stood with their hands stuck to the protective covering on Picasso's massacre in Korea, with banner reading "Climate chaos is equal to war plus famine" on the floor in front of them at the National Gallery of Victoria. Berlin's Brandenburg Gate was among the monuments and buildings illuminated as part of the city's annual Festival of Lights, which started on Friday. The festival has reduced the amount of illuminated venues from 60 to 35 and will also use 75% less electricity. Germany has enacted various energy-saving measures to combat potential energy shortages in the upcoming winter, including banning the illuminating of public buildings. The festival's theme was Vision of Our Future, and the event runs until the 16th of October. Thousands of flowers in brilliant hues of pink, purple, blue, orange and yellow greeted visitors at Manhattan's Hudson Yards in New York City for the Fleurs de Ville Femme floral show. 16 mannequins standing over 10 feet tall are covered in hydrangeas, baby's breath, violets and more. The free show runs through the 16th of October. A British artist has taken home decoration to a new level by drawing doodle art over his entire home in Kent, southern England. From the outside walls of kitchen sink, Sam Cox, known as Doodle, has covered every inch of his home in depictions of figures and symbols. Cox spent 2 years decorating the 12-room house and took several years to plan, according to a post on the artist's Instagram page. Videos of Doodle's works have received millions of views across his social media platforms. Tunisian tattoo artist Minal Mahdouani is reviving traditional Berber designs that had long been considered unfashionable but now are gaining in popularity among the new generation. Among Tunisians, Berber languages were seen as symbols of an impoverished past, but some younger people are now becoming interested in their roots and turning to Mahdouani to connect them to it with tattoos. An Egyptian water treatment company has devised a mobile water desalination unit that uses solar energy to treat underground water from salinity and minerals to be used for drinking water and irrigation. Due to freshwater scarcity in Egypt, farmers are now depending heavily on underground water, which has high levels of salinity and could also kill the crops. The newly designed water desalination model decreases the salinity, making it usable for drinking as well as irrigation. The Northern English city of Liverpool will host the 67th Eurovision Song Contest on behalf of this year's winners, Ukraine, due to the ongoing conflict over there. Liverpool edged out the other candidate, Glasgow, as host city in a draw held live on BBC television. While decades-long tradition dictates that the winner of the contest gets to host it the following year, the European Broadcasting Union had set Safety and security reasons meant runners-up Britain were instead invited to host. British soprano Sarah received the 2,736th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Sarah began her career as a member of the television dance troupe Hot Gossip and became known at first for her disco hits including Starship Trooper. Screaming fans welcomed Timothy and Taylor Russell at the London Film Festival as they arrived to premiere their new film called Bones and All. The movie is an old-fashioned love story which is set to be released on the 23rd of November this year. Oscar winner Jennifer Lawrence will be playing a soldier struggling with PTSD and past trauma in Causeway, a drama which also marks her debut as a producer. Causeway starts streaming on Apple TV Plus on the 4th of November. The cast of Persian Noha film Holy Spider protested in support of women's rights in Iran at the ongoing London Film Festival ahead of its UK premiere. Dressed as a Muslim cleric with his hands and mouth covered in fake blood, director Ali Abbasi walked onto the red carpet together with actor Zahar Amin Ibrahimi and producers wearing t-shirts reading "Women, Life, Freedom" in Farsi. And now let's move on to sports. Italy's Filippo Ganna claimed the hour record by covering 56.792 kilometers at Switzerland Velodrome. The two-time trial world champion bettered the mark of his Ineos Grenadiers teammate Daniel Bickman of Britain by 1.244 kilometers. In the ongoing 36th National Games in Gujarat today, Sikha Chauhan of Madhya Pradesh won gold medal in women's kayak event. Tamil Nadu won the bronze medal in women's football after beating Assam by 5-1 in an easy encounter. In men's hockey, Uttar Pradesh advanced to the final after beating Maharashtra by 3-2 in semi-finals. Assam's Jamna Boro defeated Sapna Sharma to make it to the semi-finals in 54-57 kg weight category in women's boxing. India beat South Africa by 7 wickets in second ODI in Ranchi to level 3 match series by 1-1. Shreyas Iyer was declared as man of the match for his unbeaten knock of 113 runs. Team India is headed to Delhi on the 11th of October to take on South Africa for the third ODI. Harmanpreet Kaur becomes India's first winner of the ICC Women's Player of the Month courtesy of her leading role in her team's first ODI series victory in England since 1999. India end Group League of Asia Cup campaign with crushing 9-wicket win over Thailand on Monday. The emphatic victory was India's 5th victory in 6 games. India will make its FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup debut on the 11th of October. Star footballer Bala Devi urges fans to attend and support the women's team. And lastly, in a major milestone of his career, Cristiano Ronaldo scored his 700th club goal as Manchester United came from behind to win 2-1 against Everton. And with this, it's a wrap in Express News with me, Deepika. But news continues here on DD India, so keep watching and keep tracking. Namaskar.